it's the Penguin Witch. Thanks for watching, you guys, and thanks for clicking on. Today I want to do another pick a card reading focused on the month of May. What is ahead for you guys in the month of May? What are you guys going to create or experience for yourselves? And so just like any other pick a card reading on YouTube, I'm just going to have you guys kind of focus on a pile for a minute. And then there will be timestamps in the description so you can jump to the pile that you've chosen. I have oracle cards and tarot cards, but to help you pick your pile, this is pile number 1 and pile number 2. To help you pick, we have this hand right here. I've had this forever. I love it so much. And then we have this amethyst crystal. So if you want to take a second, go ahead and focus on what's ahead for you, the month of May. Okay, I am going to start with pile number 1. So move pile number 2 out of the way. Okay, to start, we have 6 of Swords. Goodness, I love this deck so much. And I guess I'll start with your oracle cards. Actually, no, I'm going to start with the tarot cards first. I'm going to pull a few, or shuffle and pull a few tarot cards for you, and then we'll get to the oracle cards afterwards. So, but yeah, 6 of Swords is really exciting energy. This could be traveling. Ooh, 5 of Swords. Traveling, and traditionally, this was a card of traveling long distances. It was literally going overseas, just like in the image. But that's not necessarily what it can mean for you now. It could be that you're just not home very often throughout the month of May. This next month, you're out doing things, you're out of town, maybe you're on vacation for some. But this sense of movement and leaving where you're usually stationary is what the 6 of Swords usually represents. So let's see if we can get a few more. Okay, let's... Okay, 2 knights. Oh my gosh, 3 of them. No, I'm sorry, these are pages. This is a knight. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's do one more. Oh, okay. I want to make sure that these cards are showing up well just because they're kind of sparkly. Oh, yes. Okay. Move a few of these out of the way. Scoot them up. Okay. So, yeah, 6 of Swords to start. There's this idea of movement, of travel, of you know, going around from place to place. And traditionally, there was this, you know, kind of sense of safety with it, like, you know, moving from one place to benefit yourself or to feel more comfortable. And maybe there's a small sense of that for some of you guys with the 5 of Swords, because that's a little bit heavier energy, and so it could be paired with moving because of a confrontation or moving because you're trying to avoid something. But there's actually quite a few like cards here that represent starting over in a positive way too, or being excited. Knights are excited about rushing ahead, trying something new. So for a lot of you guys, this is going to represent like vacation and doing something fun and being out of the house and doing something that you've been looking forward to for a long time. And hopefully that conflict doesn't really follow you. To get into a little bit more detail about the 5 of Swords, it represents this battle, and you've won the battle and you've won this conflict, but at what cost? A little bit, you know. the two figures in the background, they're walking away because they have lost that battle. And so before you go into any kind of big conflict or any kind of argument, make sure that it's worth fighting for, because even though you do win, situations and relationships are altered and changed for quite a while afterwards. Now, if it's something that you've been dying to fight for and stand up for yourself and you don't mind that change, then do it, because the Six of Swords already represent that change anyway, and so do pages. You know, they're looking to you know, kind of take big risks and have this really playful energy. And knights have a little bit of that energy too. I mean, they're on the horse because they rush forward into battle a lot of the time, you know. Now Pentacles, it's a little bit different energy. It's a little bit more stable because of, you know, it's grounded energy, it being Pentacles. But yeah, so okay. So the idea of travel and movement and doing something exciting, while also maybe for some of you guys, you're going to be standing up for yourself and you're going to be a little bit bolder and, you know, cutting out certain relationships. So good for you. Now, Pentacles and Wands. This is a great combination because you're on this page energy, right? Of kind of being flirtatious with life and excited about certain things, but you're still extremely focused at the same time. It's a really great combo. You have the idea of wealth, finances, security, and then career and passion. So Pentacles are going to represent all of that security and that great blessing in finances, but then it's paired with, what do you really care about? What are you passionate about? What are you supposed to be doing? For some of you guys, that's your career and you're working on that and you want that passion to be an everyday part of your life. So maybe you're making it your career. And for others, it could be a hobby that just ends up kind of blowing up and helping you become more secure too. So the idea of some kind of financial blessing when it comes to your passion and what you care about. Maybe you're starting on in the month of May. Maybe you're creating ideas right now for a future project, and it's really going to work out for you. And with the Knight, you kind of like plan a little bit here with this energy, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take that risk and, you know, move forward with it. Now, the Knight of Pentacles isn't as impulsive as other knights. Some of them, you know, you see them charging through and they don't really think things through. They're like, okay, I'm just going to do it. And it ends up working out for them. And the Knight of Pentacles, it works out for them as well, but they're a little bit, they think things through a little bit more in detail. And so the idea that you're excited about all these new ideas after, you know, maybe travel inspires you or walking away from something inspires you, but you decide to create a plan and you take the risk, but you make sure that there's a plan involved as well. So that's really special. All of these are great signs of success. The Ace of Cups is a wonderful sign for success too, but a little bit more focused on relationships. This is, first of all, cups are a very emotional suit. They have to do with relationships, love, emotions. It's the fluffy side of what makes us human. And your reading before, all the cards in your reading before are a little bit more serious, but the end energy is on something much softer, which is beautiful. And aces represent this idea of new beginnings. New beginnings, drastic change, but for the better. And I think I've said that in my previous video, but when it comes to relationships, maybe when it comes to love too, maybe this is a sign of some romance for you near the end of May, or after you've kind of, you know, traveled a bit and come up with all these new ideas. Maybe the end of the month ends on a softer note for you, which I love. And it doesn't necessarily have to be soft, you know, it could be really exciting and flirtatious, who knows, but it's a beautiful card though. So romance, maybe something a little bit, maybe a partner gets involved with your passions and your plans. But overall, it's the idea of starting over, and starting over with relationships, which makes sense when paired with the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is kind of harsh energy, and it's serious, and it's a little bit more brutal energy. I mean, you can see for yourself, right? But there's this idea of walking away from something, walking away from past relationships. This could even be romance. This could be the idea of leaving a relationship behind, something that you might not have been happy in. Maybe these people didn't support the idea of your passions here, but before the month is over, you have hope for new relationships again, and you start kind of playing around with the idea of other people entering your life in a much more positive way, at least compared to the Five of Swords. So fun. I think that's really exciting. I'm going to scoot these over and pull your oracle cards out. We have success. Okay, perfect. Paired right along with the Knight of Pentacles and the Pages. Friendship. Let's see what she has to say. Special friends are there to help me and bring me strength during difficult times. Okay, well, that's great, especially if you're starting something new or you're traveling and you're not, you know, around home anymore. Maybe you're traveling with new friends or you're meeting new friends, but they're there for you. And I don't really feel like the month is difficult. When I say difficult times, I mean, it's really only referring to the Five of Swords. And that could be something that you're excited to take on and like kind of confront some people and feel really bold and brave about a certain situation, and, you know, be a warrior with all those swords. So it's not that it's really difficult. It's just kind of intense compared to the rest of the cards. The rest of the cards are, you know, really positive. And then Parrot Spirit, watch your words. That's funny. Okay, so, watch your words. Now, when it comes to the Five of Swords, I feel like this is paired with it. It's kind of an obvious pairing. But it's also, this could be about manifestation. It's really important when trying to move forward and trying to accomplish new things that we speak really positively about ourselves and what we're creating. That is something that is just really important in the spiritual, you know, world in general. Something we all try to work on, I think. You know, it's not realistic all the time, but it's important. But if paired with the idea of the Five of Swords, watch your words, like I said earlier in the reading, this is something you kind of have to make sure you're ready to do when it comes to fight these other people in your life, because it does change things. And so if you're okay with those consequences, then that's fine. But if not, maybe you need to watch your words. Maybe you need to take a step back and realize that you need to handle things differently, because relationships are permanently altered. I mean, these figures in the back, they are walking, can you see? I don't know where I'm holding it. Here we go. They are walking away, and they're not going to come back anytime soon. So something to keep in mind. Watch your words. Let's watch our words in general, everybody. Just, you know, and make sure we speak kindly to ourselves. Okay, well, thank you for watching pile number 1. I appreciate it, especially since I am a new creator on here, and I know, you know, clicking on these new videos, you know, isn't everybody's favorite. I appreciate you watching, and I am going to move on to pile number 2. But overall, I think this energy is really, really great and exciting. I love Six of Sword energy. This is going to be fun. And if you want to watch the next reading, you're welcome to. You're welcome to take what you resonate with, when it comes to this first reading and kind of leave what you don't resonate with behind. Maybe both readings will be helpful. Doesn't matter to me, but if you'd like to, you're welcome to. Okay. Okay. Hi, pile number 2. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I'm going to start with this card right here. 6 of Cups. Okay, beautiful. Let me show you this card. What do you do? I love the 6 of Cups energy. It's just so peaceful and going back to simpler times kind of energy. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. That kind of represents, you know, your overall vibe in the month of May. What's coming ahead for you. Let me shuffle a little bit, get a few more cards. Okay, Page of Swords. That's a funny pairing right away. Okay. I'm going to color it down. Okay. 6 of Pentacles. Knight of Cups. Let me do one more. Okay, and then the Knight of Swords. So 2 knights and a page. That's funny. Okay, so going back to 6 of Cups. 6 of Cups represents to me the idea of going back to childhood, going back to something that used to make you happy and used to make you feel peace, and the idea of it just being simple and calm. You have 2 children here playing in a garden with their cups, and cups they're the suit that represents emotions, love, relationships, the people in our life, the things that make us human. And so this is the idea of wanting to turn back time. Overall energy, the reason I pulled this card from a separate deck is I kind of wanted this to be like the overall vibe for you for the month, right? And these other cards are energies to play off of. But the idea of May, it's springtime. A lot of you guys are going to be working in the garden. A lot of you guys are going to be spending time outside in the yard or at the park or wherever it is that you guys connect with nature, maybe hiking. But it makes you feel whole for a little while. Being out in nature is going to be really helpful for you over the springtime and this next month. It's going to be good for mental health. It's going to be good for inspiration and starting new projects and just wanting to be excited about the summer and this new weather that we're getting and just all this brand new energy. But being outside is a big part of your month. Sorry about that, my dogs. Anyway, but being outside is going to be a really important part of the month of May for you. It's going to be healthy for you and for us and everybody watching to get outside. Now, the idea with the relationship and the cups and the children here, they're bonding together. Get together with people. Get together with your friends and get together with your family that you haven't seen in a while and do something that you guys used to do together that, you know, used to bring you peace and used to bring you a lot of joy. You know, go out and have a picnic with your friends and, you know, go have a barbecue with your family or whatever it is. But when you're embracing the 6 of Cups, you're embracing innocence, you're embracing peace, you're embracing slowing down, slow living, if you will. Now, that being said, I kind of want that incorporated a little bit in your day-to-day. But you do have some other energy here that is a little bit more intense with the swords, especially the Knight of Swords. And it's not like crazy or anything, especially with these other cards here that represent balance. So I will start with the Page of Swords. Excited about new projects, excited about an adventure. It's a little bit more serious energy than the Cups. It's kind of focused on not as many relationships. This is kind of a personal card for you, but this is analytical behavior, logical kind of way of thinking, a bit more serious. It's a blade, right? So it cuts through the BS of certain situations. But I almost feel like there's this idea of excitement with these two cards. I'm going to move this one up because I feel like the sword energy kind of wants to be together. The idea of fighting for adventure. I feel like peace is going to be a big part, but then when you're not, you know, sitting outside taking a nap in the lawn or whatever, there's this sense of like, okay, let's go camping, let's go do something, let's go hiking, let's go do something adventurous, let's take a road trip. And maybe it's a little bit more thought out, yeah, with that sword energy, but you're serious about adventure, if that makes sense. And throughout that entire process, throughout the spring or the next month, or I guess the next month, because that's what we're focusing on, there's this just thirst for excitement that also comes along with balance. I love this card. So the Temperance card, she has the 2 cups in hand, and she's pouring from one into the other to create balance. 1 foot on land, 1 foot on water to create balance, to be balanced. And then the road ahead for fall. Can you guys see this well? I'm sorry if you couldn't. I wasn't looking at my phone. But anyway, the idea of balance is in the imagery, in the symbolism here, or the symbolism of balance. But behind her, you have this road ahead. Now, is this the adventure that you're kind of looking for right now? When you kind of start your journey down this road, you have the sun right there on the mountaintop. That represents the idea of you being successful in whatever journey you're about to start. So she's a really beautiful card. Sorry, I hit the phone. And then you have another card of balance here. And I feel like this is a form of charity. Typically when I pull this card, I get this idea of things not being balanced. And sometimes you fit into a role that one of these characters play. You know, you're either the one constantly giving or the one constantly receiving, or you're waiting for your turn. But in this case, I feel like it's a little bit more balanced. I feel like these roles are very equally shared, and the idea of charity and giving back, and this figure here, he's giving to those who are lacking in some way. And you know, it doesn't have to be finances. I know it's a card of pentacles, and pentacles typically represent money and finances, but it doesn't have to be. You could be giving your time to others. You could be giving kindness or inspiration, or you know, good feelings and just positivity. And I feel like it's really important that in your relationships over the next month, that you make sure you give as much as you can. Don't drain yourself, of course, but make sure that you're there for the people in your life right now. And then our lovely Knight cards. So in the other reading, this is the card I was kind of talking about when it comes to charging ahead and not really thinking things through in too much detail. There's a lot of power when it comes to Knights. There's also a bit of immaturity. And in this reading, in this case, I think it's a positive to have that, to embrace the immaturity that comes along with the Knights. Yes, they are the hero of the story, of course, but, you know, they're on their horse, they're charging ahead. They're not going to think things through in too much detail. They just know they need to be the hero. And so I don't want there to be too much overthinking throughout the month of May. Now, for some of us, that's a lot easier said than done, for me as well. But the idea of just charging ahead and being the hero of your own story and being the hero for others in your life right now, you can take that role on for the next month. You can be that hero for yourself and for people that you're close to right now. Knight of Cups, he's flirtatious with the world. He romanticizes the world. There's this sense of falling in love with somebody new every day, and being excited by relationships and being excited by romance, and, you know, wanting to meet his princess, of course, and then, you know, Knight of Swords, just like, let's go fight for adventure. I don't know, overall, I think that every card here, some way more peaceful than others, but the energy is kind of the same. It's let's go out in nature, let's enjoy relationships, let's meet up with people we haven't seen in a while, and be outside, be present in the moment. Let's enjoy the springtime. Let's find peace. Let's do something we haven't done in 10 or 20 years that we used to love. And I don't know why, but the Knight energy, the Knight and the Page energy with their swords, I see young boys from like middle school era playing tag. When I think of childhood, when I think of this combat right here, especially here, I think of this park that my grandparents used to live down the street from, and how in the evenings all these boys would run around the neighborhood and they would go play tag, and they were just climbing trees and being outside and having so much fun. And this is what this reading kind of says to me, is go back 20 years and play tag with your younger self. So romanticize the springtime, romanticize every day in the month of May for yourself. Okay, let me move on to your oracle cards. And you have like double the amount of oracle cards as pile number 1 because a bunch fell out. Stand still. And blessings. I'm going to think of standstill as being still within each moment. Not that things aren't progressing, but you're standing still to recognize your blessings. That's what I think these cards are trying to tell you. And then you have communication and attitude. So let's see what communication says. I love the collage art. I effectively communicate and clarify my needs in order to achieve my goals. Communicate what you need this month, and communicate to spirit or universe or God and Goddess, whatever you want to call what you believe in. Communicate that you're grateful for your blessings, that you're grateful for the time to stand still and to go back to something really beautiful. And attitude. I attract success and positive people into my life with my positive attitude. Absolutely. Embrace that positivity. What people are you attracting? This month feels extremely positive for you guys. It just feels like one long road trip or one long camp out, really. Not really road trip, because I don't really feel like there's a lot of movement. I feel like there's a lot of just making a new environment for yourself out in nature. And then owl spirit. You see clearly now. That's something that grounding really helps me with, is just seeing clearly and putting things in the right perspective for me. And when you're outside, you know, it's not like, as an example, I'm not a big hiker or anything. I'm not like really sporty, but when I am outside and I have my feet in the grass, my bare feet in the grass, or I'm out in the yard somewhere or just under a tree and I'm grounded, I feel like I can see so clearly, and my attitude is so much more positive, and I feel grateful for my blessings and what's around me. Well, thank you again for watching. I hope that this reading resonates for those of you who watched, and you take whatever message was helpful for you. Yeah, for both piles, I feel like it was really great energy. And I'm excited for your month ahead. So thank you so much again, and me being a new content creator, I would really appreciate those of you who decide to subscribe or like the video, and I appreciate those who don't anyway, even for watching. Thank you so much. So I hope you guys have a great day.